have to live the rest of my life knowing that I wasn't there for my baby. She must have been terrified. She must have been terrified for her children downstairs.
In the late hours of October 9th, 2023, at around 11:30 p.m., law enforcement officers responded to a chilling 911 call from a distraught male. On the other end of the line, the man confessed that he had just shot his fiancée.
I grabbed her gun from under the mattress, and she was trying to come out.
With urgency, officers were quickly dispatched to the apartment, unaware of the tragedy awaiting them. Upon arrival, they found a heartbreaking scene. Inside the apartment, Amanda S. Williams, a 46-year-old popular hairstylist, lay lifeless on the floor, her body covered with gunshot wounds. Moments before the incident, the couple had just proposed to each other, and Amanda had said yes, but that wedding would never happen. This is a very heartbreaking story of Amanda S. Williams.
Hey, happy Saturday, everybody. Just wanted to come on here on my social media platform and say thank you so much to all my clients who have been rocking with me through COVID, through the transition. I appreciate each and every one of y'all. You guys are the real MVPs.
46-year-old Amanda S. Williams was born on April 18, 1977, in Cleveland, Ohio. She grew up in a large, close-knit family, raised by her parents, George L. Williams and Jewel Lewis. Amanda's upbringing was deeply rooted in strong family values and a sense of community. In 1995, Amanda graduated from Shaw High School, already exhibiting the drive and determination that would later define her. Amanda then continued her education at Cleveland State University, where she earned a Bachelor's of Science degree, laying the foundation for her future ambitions. Amanda always dreamed of becoming a successful entrepreneur, and her journey reflected her aspirations. While she pursued her professional goals, she also embraced her role as a nurturing mother to her two children, Tyler M. Williams and Tristan W. Beckley. Her love and care extended further as she proudly took on the role of a doting grandmother to her grandson, Tylen M. Williams, whom she adored. Amanda's vibrant energy radiated through her social media posts, where she presented herself as a young woman brimming with joy, ambition, and an unshakable zest for life.
I haven't made a reel in a couple of days. Instagram says that I have to keep making reels to grow. So here's your reel. Ta-da!
When it comes to this sunlight, I'm gonna take a picture.
Friends and family fondly recalled her as someone who was never afraid to dream big and chase her goals with unwavering determination. Her confidence and drive were infectious, leaving an indelible mark on everyone who crossed her path. But Amanda's influence didn't stop at her personal interactions. It extended to an ever-growing audience online. Her online presence was a reflection of her uplifting spirit. Amanda used her platform to share positive messages aimed at encouraging others to embrace self-improvement and personal growth.
It's cold outside, it's dry outside. We need to put the moisture back into our hair, ladies. With that being said, we have our hair scalp souffle. All natural ingredients, all good for your hair. It helps it grow, it smells good, it keeps the moisture locked in. It gives it a great shine. For me, I have feeders, a nice little cute and convenient hairstyle right now, but my scalp gets a little bit dry, so what do? You can apply the hair and scalp souffle to your braids on your scalp. It brings the braids back to life. It puts the moisture back into your hair. It takes the white dandruff away, and it gets you all the way together.
She believed deeply in the power of perseverance and consistently urged her followers to rise above life's distractions and focus on becoming the best versions of themselves. Amanda's posts were a vibrant blend of motivational quotes, empowering captions, and snapshots of her journey toward success. Whether she was sharing tips about mastering a skill, celebrating her achievements, or offering words of encouragement. Growing up, Amanda had always been captivated by the transformative power of beauty and fashion. She spent hours watching beauty tutorials, experimenting with different hairstyles on herself and her friends, and observing how small changes, a fresh haircut, a new makeup look, or a polished outfit could light up someone's confidence. Amanda began honing her skills at an early age. She started by making her friends and family members' hair at home, often transforming their living room into a makeshift salon. Word quickly spread about Amanda's natural talent, and soon, she was offering home services to clients in her neighborhood.
Also, everybody who has supported Amanda the Stylist and my brand, you get the hair scalp souffle, you purchase Charmaine Diamond hair extensions, or to my fellas, y'all get the beard balm. Thank you so much. You guys are most certainly appreciated, and I love each and every one of y'all. And have a great, happy Saturday and a blessed weekend. And thanks for working with Amanda the Stylist.
For years, she built her reputation through dedication, hard work, and a genuine love for what she did, and what started as a childhood curiosity would eventually blossom into a lifelong passion. In 2023, determined to turn her passion into a thriving profession, Amanda worked tirelessly to achieve her dream of opening her own salon. She launched A La Mode Styles, which was located in University Heights, a trendy area near downtown Cleveland, where her vision for beauty and personal care took shape. Amanda's entrepreneurial journey was one of steady growth. Over time, she expanded her clientele and strengthened her brand by successfully launching her own line of hair care products. The salon's second anniversary celebration marked a significant milestone, reflecting her hard work, dedication, and undeniable business savvy.
Understand?
Don't go in there and...
Don't touch it!
All right.
There. I was at about 6 there. You don't want to see me go to 10.
Listen, just because I'm not posting about it doesn't mean I'm not working. Not all hustle is loud. I just like to move in silence and make moves in private. I don't need no validation from the internet, and I don't need no pats on the back. I'm not doing it for nobody except for my family and my future. That's all.
Okay, as you guys probably know, I sell premium quality bundle hair. It's called Charmaine Diamond. So Charmaine Diamond hair extensions, I'm going to show you a few of the textures that I carry that's in stock. So of course we have the straight. This is a Brazilian straight bundle hair. Great quality. You can use it for prontos, sew-ins, ponytails, whatever. Then I have the body wave curl texture. This is my #1 seller here. I use this for a lot of my installs. You can straighten it out or you can curl it, and it gives you great body curls. Then we're going to move on to the loose curl. So this gives you the maximum volume. So I do sew-ins with this. Their curls is popping, okay? This is the loose curl. Then I have the summer hair. This is the Italian curl. This is our summer vacation hair. You wet this, you can put leave-in conditioner and spray it. Amazing Italian curl. Then I have my second bestseller. This is loose body wave.
But just when it seemed like her life was picture perfect, nothing could have prepared her for what was to come. While Amanda thrived in her professional life, her personal life also appeared to flourish. Her irresistible charm and vibrant personality led her into a relationship with a man who would profoundly impact her life in ways she could never have imagined. Amanda had been in a relationship with 41-year-old Terrell Edwards for over 6 years. Terrell worked at a hospital and also drove for Walmart as a side hustle. Together, they seemed to share a stable, loving, and supportive bond. The couple lived in Warrensville Heights and would often showcase their love on social media, sharing affectionate videos and joyful moments that reflected the depth of their relationship. To anyone watching from the outside, Amanda's life appeared to be the perfect blend of professional success and personal happiness.
Hey, birthday girl. What you doing? Are you having breakfast?
Breakfast on my birthday.
Yeah, birthday girl.
But a single decision would change everything. After dating for several years, Terrell decided it was time to take their relationship to the next level. He had seen Amanda grow and flourish, not just as his partner, but as a hardworking, compassionate, and vibrant woman who inspired everyone around her. Terrell knew deep in his heart that Amanda was the woman he wanted to spend the rest of his life with, and he was ready to make it official. So, with the help of Amanda's family and friends, Terrell made a memorable proposal. Amanda's face lit up with pure surprise and joy. She could hardly believe what was happening. As Terrell asked her to be his wife, her excitement was unmistakable. Ecstatic and overwhelmed with happiness, Amanda embraced Terrell as the room erupted with applause, cheers, and happy tears from their friends and family. For Amanda, it wasn't just a proposal. It was the beginning of a new chapter with the man she loved deeply and ready to embark on this lifelong journey with Terrell by her side. But sometimes, life holds unexpected twists that can alter everything in the blink of an eye. Amanda would frequently post about their special milestones, proudly sharing glimpses of the love and joy she and Terrell experienced together. From a romantic Valentine's Day dinner to a memorable birthday trip to Las Vegas, complete with premium seats at an Usher concert, Amanda's posts radiated happiness. Their love story was captured in snapshots of laughter, affection, and unforgettable moments that left her followers gushing over their relationship. Now, you see all the love and laughter they shared? One day, something happened. Something they did not mention in that video. Despite being engaged for a year, Amanda and Terrell's relationship was not as perfect as it seemed on social media. Beneath the surface of their shared milestones and romantic posts, cracks began to form. Their relationship was hitting the rocks. With constant arguments and heated disagreements, what once felt like an unshakable bond now seemed not so perfect. The situation became so serious that they eventually decided to attend couples counseling, hoping to rekindle the love and repair what was breaking. But even with therapy, Amanda couldn't shake the growing unease in her heart. She had started noticing red flags, small things at first, then larger issues that left her feeling increasingly anxious about their future. Still, she tried to hold on, hoping things would change. Nothing could prepare Amanda for what was about to happen next. On October 9th, 2023 at around 11:30 p.m., law enforcement officers responded to a chilling 911 call from a distraught male. On the other end of the line, the man confessed that he had just shot his fiancée. With urgency, officers were quickly dispatched to the apartment, unaware of the tragedy awaiting them. Upon arrival, they found a heartbreaking scene. Inside the apartment, 46-year-old Amanda S. Williams lay lifeless on the floor, her body covered with gunshot wounds. The woman who had once been full of life, laughter, and dreams was now unresponsive. Rescue personnel immediately got into action, assessing Amanda's condition in the hopes they might still save her. But her injuries were severe, and there was little they could do at the scene. Time was running out, and they had to act fast. In a desperate attempt to save her life, they transported her to South Point Hospital, where doctors and medical staff worked tirelessly. Tragically, despite their efforts, Amanda succumbed to her injuries. A woman who had shared joyful moments, dreams, and milestones with the man she once loved was now gone. But how did it come to this? Why would Terrell, the man Amanda had planned to marry, the man she had trusted with her future, commit such a brutal act? Amanda's tragic death left her family, friends, and community in disbelief. The shock of losing someone so vibrant, so full of potential, was unimaginable. But the even harder truth was understanding the fact that her life had been cut short by the very person who had once vowed to love and protect her. Due to the fact that Terrell had been the 911 caller and had openly confessed over the phone, the police immediately took him into custody for questioning. As officers began to piece together what had led to the tragic events that night, Terrell had a more terrifying version of what happened. During the interrogation, Terrell allegedly claimed that he and Amanda had been involved in a heated argument that quickly escalated. According to his account, things took a dangerous turn when Amanda, in a moment of anger, suddenly grabbed and held him in their bedroom. He described that Amanda was threatening him and blocking his way out, but when Terrell attempted to leave, all hell broke loose. Terrell further alleged that Amanda lunged at him with a leaving him no other option but to defend himself. It was then, he claimed, that he fired his gun. He said was self-defense. Terrell Edwards was initially released due to insufficient evidence to press charges. However, the Warrensville Heights Police Department and the Cuyahoga County Prosecutor's Office assured the public that the investigation into Amanda Williams' tragic shooting was ongoing. They urged anyone with information to come forward. Though this response left Amanda's family and community dissatisfied and eager for swifter justice. Determined to seek answers, Amanda's family and community members launched a social media campaign 2 weeks after the shooting. Their goal was to pressure authorities to thoroughly investigate Terrell's self-defense claim. Amanda's daughter, Tyler, emerged as a vocal advocate, channeling her grief into calls for accountability and justice. Although Terrell had no prior felony criminal record, family and friends claimed that he had a history of physically and emotionally abusing and manipulating Amanda. They say he had been arrested for assaulting her in 2019. and in 2020, a restraining order was filed against him by a separate woman who had accused him of stalking and threats. According to her family and friends, Amanda was actively planning to leave Terrell. The campaign gained traction, and 23 days after Amanda's death, the Warrensville Heights Police Department released a statement. It announced that evidence had been presented to a grand jury in Cuyahoga County. After reviewing the facts, the grand jury made a decision. They voted to issue an indictment in Amanda's case. Following this decision, the Cuyahoga County Prosecutor's Office issued an arrest warrant for Terrell Edwards, charging him with the death of Amanda Williams. However, the most shocking revelation was yet to come. According to the prosecutor's office, the investigation led authorities to believe that Terrell's self-defense claim was part of a premeditated plan to kill Amanda. A warrant was issued for his arrest, but initial attempts to locate him were unsuccessful. Authorities urged Terrell to surrender, and on Friday, November 3rd, he turned himself in and was held on a $1 million bond. On February 27, 2024, nearly 4 months after Terrell Edwards' trial began, with the courtroom filled with anticipation, prosecutors believed their findings revealed the true sequence of events that night. But it was now up to the jury to determine whether Terrell Edwards had acted in genuine self-defense, or if Amanda's death was the result of a deliberate and violent act. The trial began with the testimony of County Deputy Medical Examiner Dr. Elizabeth Mooney, who served as the prosecution's first witness. Dr. Mooney clarified the cause and manner of Amanda's death, reporting that Amanda had died from multiple gunshot wounds. The courtroom's tension heightened as the prosecution followed up by presenting a series of cell phone videos that Terrell had recorded on the night of the shooting, offering what they believed was crucial evidence about the altercation. The video would reveal shocking details. The video captured an intense scene in the couple's bedroom, where Amanda was seen holding, demanding that Terrell leave her home. The recording continued as a struggle unfolded, during which Terrell retrieved a gun hidden under the mattress and shot it multiple times. But then, a single clue brought the case to a sharp focus. The prosecution emphasized key points from the footage to the jury. They pointed out that at no moment did Terrell ask Amanda to drop the knife or warn her that he was armed or intended to shoot. The video also showed Amanda positioned at a distance from Terrell, moving toward the front of the bed rather than charging at him aggressively, as he claimed. When it was Terrell's turn to testify, he painted a picture of fear and self-preservation. He insisted that he genuinely feared for his life during the altercation, describing Amanda as threatening. According to his testimony, shooting her was his only option at that moment to protect himself, a claim he hoped would convince the jury that his actions were justified as self-defense. Terrell began his testimony by describing his relationship with Amanda as pretty good overall, though he claimed things took a darker turn on the day in question. He stated that the argument began over text messages and intensified after Amanda allegedly tried to force him out of their home. Terrell portrayed Amanda's behavior as increasingly alarming, claiming her eyes were red and bloodshot and describing her as seeming possessed by a demon. He further testified that Amanda threatened him, implying he would be in danger if he stayed the night. According to his account, she warned, "If you stay here tonight, you'll have to sleep with one eye open." In response to feeling unsafe, Terrell said he moved 2 guns from his nightstand to his car. When he returned inside, he claimed he saw Amanda on the phone and assumed she was calling the police. Feeling further threatened, he decided to pack his belongings and leave. As he prepared to leave, Terrell alleged that Amanda confronted him with a knife. He claimed that while attempting to record the altercation on his phone, the situation spiraled out of control. But nothing could prepare investigators for what lay ahead. The video, however, captured Amanda setting the knife down, a key piece of evidence highlighted by the prosecution. They emphasized this critical moment to challenge Terrell's self-defense claim, arguing that Amanda was unarmed as she approached him. The prosecution also pointed out inconsistencies in Terrell's version of events and questioned the logic behind his actions that night. The defense attempted to cast doubt by suggesting that Amanda might have retrieved the knife at some point not shown in the video. However, this argument struggled to gain traction due to the clear implications of the footage and the medical evidence, which painted a different picture of the fatal encounter.
The prosecution and defense were in agreement that Edwards shot and killed his fiancée, Amanda Williams. They say what's at question is whether he did so in an intentional act of murder or if he was acting in self-defense. During opening arguments, the prosecution shared that in early October, the couple was having a tense day of arguing. They said that night, Edwards and Williams continued arguing in their bedroom. The prosecution claims that Edwards fired 6 shots at Williams in anger after she told him to leave the house. The defense team, though, is claiming self-defense, saying Edwards fired the shots from a gun owned by Williams after she had.
In his emotional testimony, Terrell claimed he acted out of fear. He also justified preventing Amanda's daughter, Tyler, from entering the room, saying he wanted to shield her from the trauma of seeing her mother in such a state. However, the prosecution effectively used video evidence and medical testimony to challenge Terrell's narrative. They argued that Amanda had already set the knife down, indicating there was no immediate threat to Terrell when he shot her. This, after all the evidence was presented and closing arguments delivered, the responsibility shifted to the jury. Their task was to determine the truth. Was it truly an act of self-defense, as Terrell claimed, or had he taken Amanda's life without justification? On March 4, 2024, after carefully reviewing the evidence and considering the gravity of the crime, Judge Gall pronounced the sentence. Terrell Edwards was found guilty of 2 counts of murder, 2 counts of felonious assault, and 1 count of domestic violence. He was acquitted of the aggravated murder charge. Terrell Edwards received a life sentence with the possibility of parole after 15 years. However, due to firearm specifications, 3 additional 3-year terms were added to his sentence to be served consecutively. This adjustment meant that he would only become eligible for parole after serving a minimum of 24 years in prison. With the final judgment delivered and Terrell Edwards sentenced, Amanda Williams' family began to feel the first glimmers of closure since her tragic death. Although the deep wounds of grief would likely never fully heal, the conclusion of that trial allowed them to shift their focus toward healing and remembering Amanda for the vibrant life she lived, rather than the violent circumstances that ended it. On October 19, 2023, Amanda S. Lewis was laid to rest, with a funeral service held at the Word Church in Warrensville Heights, Ohio. Friends and family gathered to honor her memory, mourning the tragic loss of a life taken too soon. Her passing deeply impacted her community, and the service was a moment for loved ones to honor her memory. In the early days of January 2024, 24-year-old Jakyra Ortiz was full of hope. She had just accepted a proposal from the man she thought she'd spend forever with. But within days, that dream would turn into a nightmare.
Come here.
What do you have?
You love me?
Yes, I love you.
Come here.
What is it?
You love me? Back up. Back up.
No, what is it? Babe, what is that?
You love me?
Yes, I love you.
You love me?
Babe.
You love me?
Yes, I love you.
You be my wife?
Babe, what is that? Babe, stop lying.
You see what it is? Look, y'all. I'm ready.
Babe. Ew.
You gonna marry me?
Yes, I'm gonna marry you.
Come here then.
After not hearing from her for several days, her family contacted the police to request a wellness check. When investigators arrived at her apartment, they were met with something devastating. Jakyra had been shot to death by her fiancé just after proposing to her. But what was even more chilling, Julian was nowhere to be found. This is the life and death of Jakyra Triplet Ortiz.
So I'll be able to get that. I'll be able to ship it.
What's up, baby?
What's up?
Daddy. Fuck hate, nigga. Fuck hate, bitch.
I wanna go on a good.
Yeah, I broke my Instagram.
24-year-old Jakyra Triplet Ortiz affectionately known as Jaja by her family and friends, was born on February 27, 2000 in Newport, Delaware. She was originally from Chester, Pennsylvania. Raised in a close-knit family, Jakyra's upbringing was rooted in strong family values and a deep sense of community. Surrounded by unshakable love and support, she learned early on the importance of compassion, kindness, and perseverance. Her family always encouraged her to chase her dreams and to love with an open heart. Jakyra was known for her sweet nature and radiant joy. Those who knew her described her as a loving, happy young woman who embraced everyone around her with warmth. She carried that same spirit throughout her life. She attended Alexis I. DuPont High School and, after graduating, she moved to Fayetteville, North Carolina to build a life of her own. There, she began working at Amazon, quickly earning the respect of her coworkers. Known for her strong work ethic and friendly personality, she was always dependable and eager to help others. Jakyra's kindness knew no bounds. She offered love and care freely, no matter someone's background or appearance. Her presence alone could make people feel safe and seen. Jakyra's vibrant energy and infectious personality also shone through her social media, where she connected with others through messages of positivity, hope, and ambition. More than just a source of inspiration, her platform became an extension of her heart. She frequently used it to raise awareness about missing persons cases and domestic violence, passionately sharing stories that often went unheard. Her advocacy gave voice to the voiceless, but just when her life seemed to be blossoming, an unexpected turn changed everything. As she thrived both personally and publicly, Jakyra entered a relationship with a man whose presence would alter her path in ways she could never have anticipated. Jakyra eventually met 26-year-old Julian Good Wallace, a rapper and tattoo artist known by his stage name King Jules.
I was down on my ass, man, I needed you. Coppers locked me in them shackles, yeah, I needed you. Mama always on my phone, yeah, I needed you. Family stayed up on my books, yeah, I needed you.
Julian was born and raised in Wilmington, Delaware. He attended Mount Pleasant High School and spent over a decade trying to carve out a place for himself in the music industry. His lyrics often mirrored his life, the reflections of hardship, survival, and the gritty realities of street life. Despite their different backgrounds, Jakyra and Julian were instantly drawn to one another. Both young and full of ambition, they connected over shared passions, music, outdoor adventures, future dreams, and a mutual love for social media. Their bond grew quickly, and soon, their feeds were filled with affectionate photos and heartwarming videos that captured their growing relationship. One particular video stood out, a joyful moment that seemed to promise forever. You could see it in their smiles, in the way they looked at each other, their dreams, their plans, their hope for something lasting. But behind the filters and captions, behind the music and laughter, something happened. Something they didn't share in that video. In August 2024, after several months of dating, Julian decided it was time to take their relationship to the next level. He had fallen hard for Jakyra. Her compassion, strength, and love left a lasting impression on him. Deep in his heart, Julian knew she was the woman he wanted to spend the rest of his life with, and he was ready to make it official. So, Julian popped the question. He dropped to one knee and asked Jakyra to marry him.
Babe,
You love me?
yes, I love you.
You be my wife?
Babe, what is that? Babe,
You see
stop
what it is?
lying.
You see what it is? Look, yeah. I'm ready. Bitch, dance.
Babe. Ew.
You gonna marry me?
Yes, I'll marry you.
Come here then.
Her face lit up with pure surprise and joy. She could hardly believe what was happening. As tears welled in her eyes, her excitement was unmistakable. Ecstatic and overwhelmed with happiness, Jakyra embraced Julian without hesitation and said yes. For Jakyra, it wasn't just a proposal. It was the beginning of a new chapter with a man she loved deeply. She was ready to build a life with Julian. Even though Julian had a child of his own, Jakyra embraced the role with open arms. She loved the child as if they were her own. She didn't just fall in love with Julian, she welcomed his world into hers. After the engagement, they moved in together and began planning their future. Jakyra saw potential and ambition in Julian, believing in his dreams just as fiercely as she believed in their love. She was hopeful, committed, and determined to build a stable and happy home. But sometimes, life holds unexpected twists, turns so sharp that they can alter everything in the blink of an eye. After Jakyra moved in with Julian, friends and family began noticing troubling changes. At first, it was small things like missed phone calls, canceled plans, or vague explanations when she skipped family events. But gradually, the red flags became harder to ignore. Julian's behavior shifted from charming to controlling. His mood could flip in an instant, one moment affectionate, the next cold or angry over seemingly trivial matters. He often criticized those closest to Jakyra, claiming they didn't truly care about her or didn't understand their relationship. Over time, he subtly discouraged her from visiting friends. Jakyra, however, didn't see this as manipulation. To her, Julian's intensity was just a reflection of his deep love. She believed he wanted to protect her and build a life together. She dismissed concerns from loved ones, assuring them that Julian just needed time to adjust or that people misunderstood him. Little did Jakyra know, the future she had envisioned was about to take a devastating turn. What Jakyra didn't know was that Julian's past was not far behind him. His charm was just masking what he was going through internally. Julian was raised in an unstable home. He grew up in survival mode. He had been involved in crimes like breaking and entering, fighting, and resisting arrest. He bounced between courtrooms and jail, learning how to manipulate the system and the people around him. Though he'd recently completed an intensive probation program, many questioned whether he'd truly turned over a new leaf or was simply playing the part. He constantly posted videos of himself under house arrest, with an ankle monitor on full display. For Jakyra, who had always believed in seeing the best in people, Julian's charisma was disarming. He made her feel chosen, adored, like they were building something real. When they moved in together, she genuinely believed they were laying the foundation for a future. But that illusion was beginning to crack. At first, she saw his attitude as passionate love, intense, maybe a little jealous, but those closest to her began to worry. They noticed her social media presence dwindling, her smiles looking more forced, her texts less frequent. Jakyra, however, remained convinced that Julian loved her, that he was simply misunderstood and trying his best. But what happened next would set off a chain of events that no one could have imagined. On January 4th, concern turned to worry for Jakyra's family in Delaware. They had been trying to reach her for days with no response. The last time anyone had spoken to her was on New Year's Eve, 2024. Jakyra had been celebrating with her fiancé Julian at their shared apartment in the lake in the Pines complex on Tamarack Drive in Fayetteville, North Carolina. That night, she'd been on a video call with her brother, Paris Austin. He later recalled that their final conversation was joyful. Jakyra had been smiling, laughing, and full of life. That made her sudden silence all the more alarming. As the days passed, with no returned calls or messages, Paris couldn't shake the feeling in his stomach that something was terribly wrong. He had tried reaching both Jakyra and Julian, but neither answered. What started as quiet worry quickly spiraled into a nightmare. By January 4th, Jakyra's entire family in Delaware was in a state of panic. Known for her warm spirit and constant communication, Jakyra going silent for days was deeply out of character, and more so, terrifying. Her loved ones had reached their breaking point. Desperate for answers, her brother Paris, along with several family members, including their mother, packed into cars and made the long trip to Fayetteville. With rising fear and unanswered questions, they were determined to find Jakyra and uncover the truth about what had happened in the days since New Year's Eve. Time was running out, and they had to act fast. The family arrived in Fayetteville early that morning, exhausted but fueled by fear and determination. Without wasting a moment, they headed straight to the Fayetteville Police Department to file a missing person report for Jakyra. Alongside the report, they requested a wellness check at her last known address, an apartment at the Lake and Pines complex on Tamarack Drive where she lived with Julian. At around 8:45 a.m., officers were immediately dispatched to the apartment. They knocked, but got no answer. They proceeded to call out, and when no one replied, they had no option but to gain entry the best way they could. But nothing could have prepared them or the family for what they were about to discover inside. What they found inside was nothing short of horrifying. Jakyra's lifeless body was discovered in the bedroom of the apartment, bearing fatal injuries that pointed to a violent and deliberate attack. Blood was splattered across the room, and furniture was overturned, confirming a struggle had taken place. Medical crews arrived at the scene within minutes, but despite their swift response, it was too late. 24-year-old Jakyra Ortiz was pronounced dead at the scene. Her injuries were extensive, and paramedics confirmed she had likely died several hours before being discovered. The trauma to her body suggested she fought desperately for her life. Authorities quickly ruled her death a homicide. Outside, as investigators delivered the devastating news to Jakyra's family, they were left in anguish. Police quickly turned their attention to Julian Good. Not only was he Jakyra's fiancé and co-tenant, but he was also the last person seen with her on New Year's Eve. His sudden disappearance raised immediate red flags. Officers learned that Julian hadn't shown up for work, hadn't contacted any friends, and his phone was turned off. His car was also missing. It appeared he had fled. A manhunt was immediately launched, and police began working around the clock to trace Julian's movements. In the hours following Jakyra's death, investigators reviewed surveillance footage from nearby businesses and traffic cameras until they found a lead. They placed Julian at a 7-Eleven in Fayetteville at approximately 1 a.m. on January 1st, just a few hours after Jakyra was believed to have been killed. 2 days later, on January 3rd, Julian was spotted again, this time on surveillance footage at a Walmart in Fayetteville. Witnesses described him as visibly agitated and behaving erratically, pacing aisles and speaking to himself. By the time police were actively searching for him, Julian had already vanished once more. As the manhunt intensified, Jakyra's family and friends took their pleas public, hoping media attention might lead to answers. Social media lit up with posts honoring Jakyra's memory and urging the public to come forward with any information about Julian's whereabouts. Her brother, Paris, made a heartbreaking statement during a televised interview.
In a situation like that, you're exploring all possibilities in your mind, whether you want to or not.
Paris Austin tells me he had a grave feeling his little sister, Jakyra Ortiz, was already dead as he drove from Virginia to Fayetteville Saturday morning to look for her. He says he and several of his family members, including his mother, traveled to Fayetteville from out of state to track down his sister with the police. They were all here at the Lake in the Pines apartments on Tamarack Drive when police found her body in one of the apartments.
And then, you just hear the screaming of my mother.
Fayetteville police say Jakyra, also known by her birth name as Jakyra Triplet, was last seen with her fiancé. Her fiancé did not return a call today from Eyewitness News, and family members say they hadn't heard from her since they were all together celebrating on New Year's Eve. However, police have not identified a suspect in Jakyra's death. Her brother says she'll be missed for her kind and generous nature.
I'm gonna miss her smile and her drive, personally.
Fayetteville police are actively investigating and say anyone with tips should contact the department.
For almost 2 weeks, Julian remained nowhere to be found. His disappearance fueled intense speculation. Was he hiding nearby, or had he fled to another state entirely? Authorities monitored his known associates, combed through phone records, and kept a close watch on locations he had frequented. As the investigation ramped up, detectives began digging deeper into Julian's past, hoping to uncover anything that might lead them to answers. Who was Julian Good, really? What kind of life had he lived before Jakyra? And more importantly, did something in his past hold the key to where he might be now? As investigators dug deeper, Julian's social media presence in the days leading up to New Year's Eve raised new red flags. What once seemed like typical rap content had taken a darker, more disturbing turn. His posts began hinting at emotional instability, betrayal, and inner demons. At the time, many of his followers brushed off the cryptic messages as part of his artist persona, just another rapper speaking in metaphors. But in hindsight, they read like veiled cries for help or warnings. In one of his unsettling posts, Julian expressed betrayal and frustration, hinting at emotional manipulation, isolation, and a belief that others envied his strengths, revealing a paranoid and troubled state of mind. Then on the very day Jakyra went missing, Julian posted another chilling message. When investigators began speaking with Jakyra's close friends, a clearer, more disturbing picture of her relationship with Julian Good allegedly began to emerge. Friends recalled subtle signs that Jakyra wasn't as happy as she appeared online. Behind the smiling photos and affectionate videos, there were messages, phone calls, and conversations that hinted at something much darker happening behind closed doors. According to those close to her, Julian was allegedly abusing Jakyra, both emotionally and physically. They said she would sometimes withdraw, become quiet, or anxious after being with him, and often make excuses for his behavior. One friend revealed that Jakyra had recently confided in her about making a plan to leave. She had allegedly started taking small steps, reaching out to family more, and distancing herself from certain parts of their shared social circle. It was as though she knew she needed to go, but was waiting for the right moment. She was scared, the friend admitted, but she was also strong. She wanted out. She just didn't want to look over her shoulder anymore. Investigators took these statements seriously. Combined with Julian's increasingly erratic online behavior and his past history, a potential move was beginning to take shape. Jakyra, full of love and promise, may have become a target the moment she chose herself and her safety over him. Just when it seemed like the case had gone cold, a breakthrough arrived. In the early hours of January 13th, 2025, at approximately 1:15 a.m., acting on a crucial tip, officers located 26-year-old Julian Good Wallace walking alone along Santa Fe Drive. Fayetteville police immediately made the arrest, an arrest many had hoped for, most especially Jakyra's family. Julian didn't resist. He was taken into custody without incident and transported to the Cumberland County Detention Center, where he was formally charged with first-degree murder in connection with the death of 24-year-old Jakyra Ortiz. As Julian sat in jail awaiting trial, the community stood in unwavering support of Jakyra's grieving family. A GoFundMe campaign launched by loved ones quickly gained traction, raising over $7,500 toward a $12,000 goal to cover funeral expenses. Any remaining funds, the family announced, would be donated to a charity or treatment center in Jakyra's memory, honoring her compassion and spirit. The case against Julian remains ongoing. He was denied bond and made his first court appearance in late January 2025. Prosecutors have indicated they will pursue the maximum sentence, citing not only the brutal nature of the crime, but also Julian's extensive criminal history, including prior charges for breaking and entering, assault, and multiple probation violations. In the aftermath of his arrest, Jakyra's mother spoke publicly, her voice heavy with sorrow yet firm with resolve. "Nothing can bring my baby back, but at least we know the man responsible is behind bars. She didn't deserve this. No one does." Her words echoed the heartbreak of a family forever changed, and a community determined to see justice served. On the 6th of March 2024, an agitated mother called the police for help in West Palm Beach, a city in Florida. Her daughter had been found dead in the house not long after she had been proposed to. The daughter was 18-year-old Kelvin McRae, who was shot by a man whom she said yes to his engagement proposal moments before. In a very frantic and painful manner, her mom called the police to the residence in West Palm Beach after the shocking discovery of her lifeless body. This is the heartbreaking story of Kelvin McRae. This story would take us to West Palm Beach, Florida, a place known for its beautiful beaches, vibrant art scene, and luxurious shopping areas like Worth Avenue. The chances of being a victim of violent crime in West Palm Beach is 1 in 211, which is a very high number. Unfortunately for Kelvin, she would become a victim of violent crime. Kelvin McRae was a truly blessed child who was named after her father, Kelvin. Growing up, she excelled in sports, playing basketball and running track at Inlet Grove High School. Even in high school, Kelvy stood out as one of the flashiest students because she loved fashion. Her outfits always looked good and her hair was usually silk pressed. It is no surprise that after graduation, she pursued multiple passions, including modeling, singing, and social media.
Knowing that I'm precious, I was told on sight it ain't nobody blow a feather. Keep calling on my phone, he keep on calling. If I let him bring my nephew, just be quiet, cause these niggas out here telling. I can't fake the 10 with all these bitches in my mini niggas trying to be the guys you ain't.
As a model, she got some small-time gigs because she was trying to break through in the industry. Kelvy did all of this while studying cosmetology, which must have been difficult. In fact, she had just received her cosmetology security license and was on the way to making it a big part of her business. Although she was only 18 years old, Kelvy McRae was a young woman full of personality and charm, as described by her family. Kelvy was entrepreneurial at heart. She successfully ran her own little hairstyling business where she took joy in enhancing the beauty of her friends and the young women around her. The reason Kelvy worked so hard to make money and improve her life was probably because she was deeply connected to her family, especially her father, with whom she shared a close bond.
Yo, get that box in the back. Open, get that box.
Oh, sure, I gotta tell easy. Oh, this big box. You're a slick man. You're a slick man, boy. I gotta tell easy. Oh, you snapped, Dad. You snapped. I got this, man. Never settle for less.
She was a daddy's girl who enjoyed hanging out with her father. Kelvy was known for her strong work ethic and ambition, always eager to make the most of her talents. In her personal life, she was in a relationship with 19-year-old Kayshawn Shaw, who she had started dating in high school. They shared memorable moments and even attended prom together. He was a big part of her life because her family knew Kayshawn, since he would always come around to hang out with Kelvy when they started dating. Despite her vibrant life and aspirations, Kelvy faced challenges in her relationship that ultimately led to tragedy. While in their prom pictures they looked like the perfect young couple, in reality, their relationship was a mess. Kelvy McRae and Kayshawn Shaw had been in a relationship for about a year. Friends and family described their relationship as stormy, marked by frequent arguments and reconciliations. They would end things and get back together several times. Despite the ups and downs, Kelvy had a compassionate heart and allowed Kayshawn to live with her and her family when he said he had nowhere else to go. Now, no one knows why Kayshawn was homeless at such a young age or what his own family was doing, but Kelvy's family was nice enough to let him stay. However, this probably puts a strain on their relationship. It's not hard to imagine how small arguments could turn into something big because of the stress they were both under. This living situation would end up building aggression in Kayshawn until he could no longer hold his dark thoughts in anymore. After many arguments, Kelvy ended the relationship in January, a decision that Kayshawn struggled to accept. According to close friends, Kayshawn had been persistently asking Kelvy to reconcile, but she remained firm in her decision to move on. She was tired of the relationship and wanted nothing to do with him. However, she did not throw him out on the streets. Her family was still accommodating Kayshawn even after they broke up, because he had nowhere to go. That did not stop Kayshawn from trying to get Kelvy back. At first, he resorted to emotionally blackmailing her by crying and talking about how she was all he had. But Kelvy did not give in to his games. This refusal seemed to have provoked Kayshawn's feelings of rejection and anger, setting the stage for his unjustified actions. On March 5th, 2024, just a day before the fatal shooting, Kelvy called 911 to report an assault by Kayshawn. She told the police that he had strangled her, pointed a gun at her head, and briefly held her against her will. When she attempted to escape, Kayshawn allegedly threw himself onto her car's windshield, shattering it completely. Afterward, he ran away because he knew he had messed up. After the police arrived, he was subsequently charged with false imprisonment, aggravated assault, and battery, among other offenses. Despite these charges, Kayshawn was not immediately apprehended because he was nowhere to be found. Law enforcement officials were actively searching for him throughout the day. He was eventually found somewhere around town and led the police in an intense car chase, which took them 5 miles. Eventually, the police had to stop chasing him because it was unsafe, so he managed to evade capture. This failure to detain him would have great consequences the following day. On the evening of March 6, Kelvy was at home alone enjoying a FaceTime call with 3 friends. After the series of events that had been going on, a nice conversation with her friends seemed like a great way to take her mind off things and de-stress. She was sitting down to dinner, unaware of the impending danger. According to one of the friends on the call, Kayshawn entered the room unexpectedly and began shooting at Kelvy wildly. This tragedy didn't happen in some distant place. It happened during a casual chat with friends, where she should have been safest. Kayshawn had lived with Kelvy, so he knew how to get into her home undetected to carry out this terrible crime. Her friends, helpless witnesses on the other side of the screen, were forced to watch in horror as Kelvy's ex-boyfriend turned the gun on himself to end his life as well. Kelvy's mother, who was home when this happened, immediately sprang into action. She called West Palm Beach Police Department officials, who immediately responded to the report of a shooting inside a home in the 1400 block of 13th Street, near North Australian Avenue, on a Wednesday evening. When they arrived, they found Kelvy McRae with several gunshot wounds. A neighbor had also called the police. She explained that she had heard gunshots from her home, so she went to find out what was happening, but by then, it was too late. Kelvy was struck multiple times in the head, neck, and back. The friends on the FaceTime call witnessed the horrific event in real time. The police were able to rush both of them to St. Mary's Medical Center, where Kelvy succumbed to her injuries later that evening and sadly passed away. Kayshawn, however, died the following day. The community was left shattered by the shock of Kelvy's death. On a somber evening at Singer Island, hundreds gathered to honor the life of Kelvy McRae. Family and friends filled the Riviera Beach Municipal Beach Park. They all wore Kelvy's favorite colors and had hundreds of balloons in purple and pink. The vigil was held a week after her death as a heartfelt tribute to a young life cut short by violence. Kelvy's mother, Marla McKinney, shared her grief, recounting the terrible night her daughter was taken from her. She said she could hear the shots every day and see Kelvy on the floor as well.
I hear the shots every day. I see her on the floor every day.
It is a sad thing to imagine that a mother would witness such a horrific crime committed by someone she hosted in her home. Despite the pain, Marla found solace in the support of those who loved Kelvy. The vigil was a reflection of Kelvy's vibrant personality and her love for the beach. As candles illuminated the night, attendees shared memories and prayers, creating a circle of love and remembrance. Her uncle, Ricky Aiken, who was also the family's spokesman, expressed the collective grief, stating that the tragedy was not just in her death, but in the manner and age at which she died.
The tragedy isn't that she died. You know, we all must go the way that Kelvy went. The tragedy is probably in how she died and how old she was when she died.
Kelvy was so young and would have become a wonderful woman. He further stated that he believed that this experience highlighted the need to protect girls by making sure they know what to do if they were to find themselves in a situation like this. Her funeral service was gracefully decorated in a way to symbolize her great character and personality. Kelvy was laid to rest, looking as beautiful as she did even while alive. One question that rang in the family was, why did the police not try to take Kelvy to safety after she was threatened by Kayshawn the previous day? He was on the police's radar before the shooting. It is obvious that this teenager was a danger to society, and although it would have seemed like one day would not have made a difference, in this case, it ended up costing Kelvy her life. Although the police tried to arrest him and failed, they didn't offer to relocate her to an undisclosed location to keep her safe from someone who could come back home and commit another violent crime. And that's exactly what happened the very next day. What are your thoughts on this case?